So the first thing you want to do when you show up at a place to do the landscaping is kind of make sure everything's going to be clear. If it's your first time, you'd want to make a plan, like the route you're going to take, weed eating, things like that. Once we get out here, I don't want to be stopping and picking stuff up, so we just make some quick little rounds and do that. I see a ball. There's a piece of plastic here. I see all this long stuff. I'll probably get that with a weed eater when I'm in this spot. A line trimmer, if you want to be all technical. When dealing with this kind of thing right here, this is our yard, but if it was a customer's yard and they're determined to have it here in the grass, you would kind of leave it there, maybe round up around it, weed eat around it, or just move it like this. And then make sure you put it back, because people get all weird about that stuff. All right, I know the front's clear, so let's head out with the weed eater to talk about our weed eating plans. This kind of stuff, you don't just want to leave that. You also want to be careful not to kick rocks and break windows and stuff. That too. That'd be the kind of thing you keep Roundup or whatever weed killer on your truck for, like driveways and things that you don't want to just mess with, and cracks in the sidewalk and stuff like that. So the plan is basically I want to start here and make a kind of a circle and end up back here. So I can tell you, if you come this way, I would start there, and this is the kind of spot where you want to pay attention. I can see there's rocks in there. I don't want to kick a rock into anybody's window. I look across. I don't think a rock would make it across the street, but there's no windows. There is a window here. So I'm going to want to make that. I'm going to want to make that line kick away from the house, just because there's so many rocks. The way I would approach this yard is hit that line, okay, and then go into the ditch. Go up one side of the ditch, getting anything where the lawnmower would fall in, nice and flat, and you don't want to get into it and start getting dirt and stuff. Then I'd go around the other side of the ditch. Then I would hit the street line. Now I'm back over there. And then I go around that edge of the yard, flat like this, because it's bushes. Right here, we want it like that. If it's bushes and fences and things that come right up to the edge of the grass, the mower is not going to be able to get. The mower can overlap this, so you can get it flat. If that was raised, you'd go into it like this, because the mower can't get close enough. even if it was raised and you made it a line like that. The mower can't get close enough, so you go into it flat. Around that side of the yard and into these trees here. You don't necessarily want to go around every tree. You'd want to go and hit a half circle, coming around like this. You'd want to go halfway around each one. Boom. 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 And then back. Doing the other half and go back. Then you're back right there at the corner where you still need to hit this line. And the lawnmower, we want to make that a straight edge because that border doesn't stick up above the grass, but the lawnmower can't really get in there. So we also want to hit it down a little bit with this kind of position right here. Make a line on it and then flatten it out. Oh, we're gonna get started here. Choke. Look at the direction it spins. We want to kick rocks away from the house. out at an angle to the street. If that was concrete, on the initial cut, I would cut it down straight. Do whatever work I had to do, chop it with a scraper or whatever, to get the grass off the concrete and expose that line. And then every time you fill up, it's real easy to just hit the line. Well, there's no nice line under that grass, where the asphalt meets the grass, so that will let you off. I try not to bump to let my line out on the grass. That's a circle. I also want to take down anywhere where it's going to be hard to get a lawnmower up against it. Once you get the lawnmower going, you're just going to rip around this bad boy. Not try to work it into corners and stuff. So watch how I get that corner so a lawnmower doesn't have to try to go in and out of it. When we started out here, trying to touch it with that. ideally, that needs some Roundup. Now I'm as close as I'm going to be to those bushes. So I jump over and I try not to whack the stems. I'm going to flatten it out. I'm going to flatten it out to a point where the mower can just go alongside and not have to get close. Your RPM's nice and low when you get next to the plant. back where I started back here. Didn't miss any plants or any features in the lawn, like those water line covers. Now it's time to mow. All right, so that's cut. The way we're gonna go about this, pick a good starting point, like maybe that corner, and you're gonna go around it twice. So you have a patch this wide to turn around on. Now, you want to cut a different direction every week so you don't end up with ruts. This week, I'm going to go diagonal. The way I'm going to make a straight diagonal line, and it's not going to be from corner to corner. That's weird. It's just too slanty. So I'm going to go maybe from this corner to the middle of the yard. When I stand at that corner, I'm gonna look straight across the street or someplace, pick an object, and slowly walk straight to it with the lawnmower. Then I'll have my straight line established. On every return pass, you don't want to set your wheel right in the wheel mark you just made. You want to overlap a little bit so you don't get those little protrusions or sticky outies. And yeah, if the yard is really bumpy, which this can be in some places, you want to slow down a little bit so you don't get this patchy, crappy look. You want it to be smooth. And this yard is going to produce a lot of grass. So here we have our tarp. Oh, we'd call it a burlap, and it wouldn't be a real tarp. It'd be burlap or some white stuff. We're going to set this somewhere in the middle of the yard. Every time we need to dump grass, we can go to that, because the dump site is way back there. Okay, you want to stop that mower. It's all about efficiency. The more time you take, the less money you're making. You want to just stop that lawnmower, take a few steps, dump, back at it, and then grab that whole burlap full of stuff and dump it all at once when you're done out here. So we're going to set this in the middle of the yard, and then once we have this half of the yard cut, we'll scooch it over to the cut half so it won't be in the way. Right now, just from that, already needs to be done. I got that on there to keep this stuff from blowing out. If you do this in the middle of the yard, once you start back up, you're going to backtrack a little bit to get the little bit of stuff you just spilled. Stick that there out of the way, because we're going to cut that half first. When it comes to the length of the grass, I personally prefer to cut it as high as I possibly can, and it doesn't look blotchy and wispy. How I would choose a height, either a customer will have a preference. They'll say cut it lower. Rarely do they say cut it higher, but I like to cut it high. I would take the mower and set it in the grass. And I can see every blade reaches up to that deck. So we're good all the way up. Cutting the lawn all the way up creates more surface area on that grass for photosynthesis. That thicker, longer grass chokes out weeds better, and that thicker, longer grass also holds moisture into the soil. This is Western Washington, so we have a little more water. But when I was gardening in California, we had lawns like this. They can water 2 days a week, and just cutting it high would help keep that grass green, and it didn't take as much water to have it like that as it looked like it did. So if that was really blotchy like that, you would want to lower your deck down around the blotchiness. And I mean, if it was consistently blotchy like that, whatever those low spots are, you set your deck to the, near the low spot and take off. And on the first cut, it might be a little bit yellow if there's lower and higher, but it would even out. Now I'm going to go around twice, start at the corner, pick a spot across the road and walk straight to it to make a diagonal line. And then just go back and forth, overlapping my wheel marks. That style lawnmower, the Toro, with the drive on the bottom, because I can drive it with one hand, turn with one hand. So that's the gist. Now when I finish this half of the yard, I still need to come back over and do this half. I don't want to just cut from there to there or whatever, from there to there. I want to go back around the edges. That doesn't necessarily save steps, but you can't be putting lines right through the middle of somebody's yard. You want all the lines like that only. And if you're around the edges, obviously